up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's your man's Drew Trades. In this video, I'm gonna break down my simple strategy that I use to make money in the markets every single day. It's a fairly simple strategy, you know what I'm saying? And this is for all my aspiring forex traders. This is a strategy you can implement in your trading plan today and start making money right away, right? So, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you guys. But before I do that, I need you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. Right. So, what we have here, we have Pound Aussie. It's one of my favorite pairs, man, simply because it fucking moves. Whatever direction that it's trending in, it usually will go in that direction for a little while. So, you know, as a trader, that gives you a lot of opportunity to hop in on the trend and get these profits and get money. That's what it's all about, right? So first thing I do in the morning, we are on a 4-hour time frame here. I always start off with the 4-hour time frame, and that usually is going to tell me what's going to go on, right? So as we can see, instead of scaling up to a higher time frame, I like to stay on the 4-hour and just zoom out, right? This gives me a good indication of what price is doing. Clearly we're on an uptrend. You know, we've been on an uptrend for a minute. As you can see, like, price is just going up, right? So as a trader, once price shows you what it wants to do, the next thing is for you to figure out is, man, how can I get in on this? How can I hop in on the trade? As we know, as traders, nothing just goes straight up and nothing goes straight down, right? It moves in waves. So, as we can see, we'll start, let's see, this is like 2 to 3 weeks out. This is, for me, relevant price action. You want to stay in relevant price action. What happened 2 months ago, 3 months ago, a year ago, none of that fucking matters. You want to stay in relevant price action. What is price doing right now? And how can I benefit and make money on what price is doing right now, right? So this is 4-hour time frame. And all we're looking for, now that we know we're in an uptrend, right? How do we know we're in an uptrend? Price is making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right? So it's an uptrend. Similarly, if we were in a downtrend, in a different pair, you know, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. That's all we're looking for. That's it. So your job as a trader is to figure out where we are in the trend as far as the 3 phases, right? So the 3 phases that we need to know. The first one is impulse. Second one is correction. And the third one is, this is where you make money. You can call it whatever. Some people call it continuation. Some people call it the get money phase, whatever. We're just gonna call it dollar signs, right? Because that's what we want to see after we have identified the impulse. We waited for the correction. Now it's time to get paid. So I'm gonna show you a couple of examples how you could have done this, right? So what we have here is, let's start over here. This is March 25th, so it's not that far ago. This high and low point pushed up and made a higher high, right? And we came back down. For the second phase, which is the correction phase, we made a higher high, all right? So that's that first move you could have caught. So you could have identified where we were in, right? Which is the impulse. This was the impulse move. And then we had a correction of the impulse move. And even though price came back down, it never broke this low. Price never broke this low, right? So and then it pushed up, made a higher high, and broke this higher high. So that continues the uptrend, right? So how we could have benefited from this is we pull out our Fibonacci, pull out the fib, and my fib, man, I only got a few. I'm only looking for price to bounce around the 38.2 or the 62%, you know. And all I'm looking for when it does bounce, I'm just looking for one thing. If it's an uptrend, right? I'm just looking for a bullish engulfing candle. And this is on the 4 hour. A bullish engulfing candle on the 4 hour. Right? So let me show you. Each time, and recently with this price, and this will work in any market, right? Each time, and this is a bull market. Each time we had this bullish engulfing candle on the 4 hour time frame, that classifies as a bounce to me, and that lets me know buyers are here. It's time for me to get it. Each time we had this, price made an impulse. Each time. Over here. Bullish engulfing. What's a bullish engulfing candle? It's when the previous candle was bearish or closed red or whatever. It was mostly sales in that candle, in that data. And then the next candle came and it was an engulfing candle. It was about twice as large, or sometimes more than twice as large as the previous candle, after a correction. Very important, after a correction, right? So this was after a correction. We had a bullish engulfing candle right here, and price went up and made a new high. Correction, bullish engulfing candle right here, price went up, made a new high, right? So what you think is gonna happen again? Bullish engulfing candle right here, price went up, made a new high. Again, bullish engulfing candle right here. What you think price is gonna do next? Same thing every time, right? So you want to look for that engulfing candle after the correction to let you know, the price is letting you know, hey, all right, I'm in an uptrend, I'm ready to continue this uptrend. I'm in a downtrend, I'm ready to continue this downtrend. Look for the engulfing candle on the 4 hour. It works every single time. So this was, we pulled out our fib, back to this fib play, right? On this impulse move. So we pull out our fib from this high and low point to the very top of this wick where price reached. And you can do this precisely by using the magnet tool. I use the magnet tool, I use the weak one, right? And you put it up here and you just simply wait. You simply wait for the correction to happen, and then you wait for signs. Boom. Bullish engulfing right here, price took off. Right? So our projection and where we would have got out in, let's say we would have got in right here, or we can get out at the previous high, which would be your take profit 1. You can get out at the negative 27%, which would be take profit 2. Or if you want to hold it a little longer, not saying price will always reach here, but if you get that extra volume, sometimes it does get that high up to the negative 62%. But for the most part, I'm looking for price to get to that negative 27%. That's like a sweet spot for me. And that confirms that the price wants to continue whatever trend that it wants to get to, because it'll break previous highs. In this case, because we're in an uptrend. All right, so let's talk about, we talked about this impulse correction, get money. Let's talk about the next one. So now we're gonna, the same level that we bounced from before, we're gonna use that as our high low, and we're gonna get to our higher high, right? So we pushed up, right? Created this high right here, and then we corrected, we pulled back. And then we have an engulfing candle right here, and we pushed up again. This time we didn't necessarily make it to the negative 27%, But that's okay because price still pushed and broke this high, which still continues the uptrend, right? So TP1 would have been hit, your first take profit. Take profit 2 wouldn't have been hit, but you still would have made a shit ton of money. Like, let's measure this shit. Like, if you would have got in somewhere 300 pips, 319 pips, take that, right? So, let's talk about what price is doing right now. It's doing the same shit again. Pull out our fib. Next high low point. This time we have even more confirmation because price literally tapped the 62% fib at a level of support resistance. As you can see, price rejected here, long as wicks, rejected here, long as wicks, rejected here, long as wicks, and rejected here. The reason why you wouldn't have got in, just because it pulled back to the support resistance zone, you wouldn't have got in. There's no blue candle. There's no bullish engulfing candle. That's your confirmation to get in. There was no bullish engulfing candle right here. So just because it pushed down into this zone and you expect it to push up, but there was no confirmation. You always want to wait for confirmation, right? So, but this time, over here, we have a push. You know, we have that rejection, and then we have a bullish engulfing candle, right? So that lets us know that there are buyers in this area. There are buyers here, right? So at the end of the day, I mean, that's pretty much the strategy. You know, you just have to execute it at the end of the day. And even me, sometimes I know what the market, I have a pretty good idea what the market is about to do, and I still, sometimes my execution lacks. That's just something I gotta get better at, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's where taking the emotion and getting your psychology right, you know, that's where that comes in at, and that's where you have to get better as a trader in order to benefit and, you know, become a profitable trader and become a six-figure trader like me. At the end of the day, it's about execution at the end of the day, you know. So yeah, man, that's my strategy. That's pretty much the basis of what I look at in the morning when I'm looking at the charts, and then when I'm looking for an entry on something. You know, those are the steps for me, and you know. But that's the end of this video, guys. Y'all go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, y'all, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.